Hi friends, it's Miss Kiker. In this literacy video, we are going to review what a lesson is. This was one of the options in your weeks 3 and 4 UCPS packet for your literacy choice board. So what I'm going to do in this video is introduce a book and read it with you. And then I'm also going to just review what a lesson and a moral are. And if you would like to, at the end of this video, feel free to write a response. So here, just a quick review. A lesson is something learned or taught. So all of the lessons that we have in school, whether Ms. Fulmer or I are teaching you math or writing or something having to do with reading, those are all lessons. Authors also write lessons and include lessons in their books. And those can be seen a little bit more as a moral. So a moral is a lesson about right or wrong. For example, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, we learned that one reason Charlie was able to get the prize at the end was because he was humble, he was patient, and those were some things that we learned. They were lessons learned, things that helped Charlie make it to the end. And the cool thing with morals and lessons and stories, a lot of times those are things that we can use in our own lives to make us better people out in the world. So there are definitions for a lesson and a moral. Right here I have my question. What is the lesson learned? So I'm going to read to you Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. This book is actually Kinsley's and we love it. There are definitely a couple great lessons or morals here in this story. And if you would like I said, to write a response at the end, this is just a way to start your response. The lesson learned in Alexander, ... I wasn't going to write out the full title because it didn't have too much space. But the lesson learned in Alexander is ... So let's begin reading. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. Hoping I said her name right. Oops. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. He looks pretty grumpy there. I'd be pretty grumpy after all that, too. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be carsick. No one even answered. They do look pretty squished in there. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Poor Alexander. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. You see his picture of the invisible castle? It's invisible. It's invisible. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. I guess if Alexander moves to Australia, he'll get the ice cream. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was. Because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes, but then the shoe man said, "We're all sold out." They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as could be except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone. But I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Oops, I missed a part. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot, I got soap in my eyes, my marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Just to share, I think my lesson that I learned from this story is that we do have bad days, and it's okay. We all have bad days, and those are kind of times that we can lean on our loved ones and our family. Maybe right now with all of this going on with the coronavirus, you might have some bad days, and it's okay. But just know that you do have friends and family there and teachers who love you very, very much, and bad days are okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, feel free to write a response to what you think the lesson in Alexander and the horrible, terrible, no good, very bad day was. Bye, guys.